name is Todd Vaughn. I'm the Communications and Community Engagement Coordinator here at the City of Lacombe. I'm joined by our CEO, Matthew Goudy, and Mayor Grant Creasey. Today, we're talking about the approval of the 2024 budget at the November 14th regular meeting of Council. Grant, it's nice to see that Council was able to get this item almost pretty early in the year for this.
It is earlier than normal, and I think that the schedule puts us much further ahead in the process than the majority of municipalities across the province.
Absolutely. Mayor Creasey, Council instructed administration to keep tax increase of 3.75% in the budget there. That was achieved there. Do you want to talk about just the importance of keeping those tax raises below inflation as what's been common for your council?
It has been common, and that's the reason why we've introduced some of the guidelines that we operate by, keeping those increases either at or below the consumer price index. I think it's always important to keep increases to a bare minimum, and this year is no different. We respect that economic difficulties make it always a challenge for people to balance their home budgets, and we respect that and did our best to continue on with the quality services and programs that the city has and keep those increases to an absolute minimum.
CEO Goudy, there was some service level enhancements which were included within that tax rate increase. Do you want to just outline a little bit of the specifics within the budget?
Yeah, for sure. So there was some improvements that Council directed that residents will see right away here, actually, as hopefully not too soon, but as the snow starts to fly. Council has directed some enhancements in terms of removing the windrow. So where some residents right now have had to deal with snow piled on their lawn that melts in the spring, it's kind of an unsightly thing. Council's asked that we remove that entirely for this year and going forward. We'll also see some improvements in the frequency of clearing of our outdoor ice surfaces, particularly on the weekend, to make sure that those are available for residents to access.
Absolutely. Moving on to the 2024 capital budget, we have just under $10 million of spending. Lots of really, really important capital expenditures for the city there. Grant, you want to talk about the importance of keeping up with the city's infrastructure through the capital budget each year?
Absolutely, I'm happy to. I think probably one of the best publicly received items is the work that we do on keeping up with our public infrastructure, namely roads and the pipes that go below those roads. It's not exactly the most exciting part of perhaps that is done here at City Hall, but it is a very critical one, and one that I receive many compliments on throughout the year.
CEO Goudy, do you just want to discuss maybe some of the specifics within the capital budget there and the process of creating that budget?
Yeah, so we go through a process both of asset management, so we know that there's planned replacements and upgrades that are needed years in advance. We also have some public consultation and then council direction in terms of developing an initial list, and then council makes the final decision. So there's a lot of routine, replacement of police vehicles and some trucks that the city is replacing, that sort of thing. Some of the major highlights that are more visible for people to see would be playground replacement, the next round being Westview Park and Fopo's Kinsman Park. The city's been doing a lot of replacements of playgrounds recently, and that's just the next ones in line. We'll also see some drainage improvements around town. As the mayor's indicated, about $2 million of paving, some major paving on C&E Trail and various spots around the municipality, and then quite a bit of spending on fire, both a new hall, and we'll be ordering 2 new trucks, although they probably are not going to show up until subsequent years. They have quite a long lead build time. 2 of the items that council was not able to see value in funding for the 2024 budget was a renovation of City Hall. There was concern amongst council that to coincide a renovation of City Hall, which disrupts a lot of public services and staff at the same time as we'll be moving into a new public works building, which has the same impacts, is just too disruptive for both staff and the public. And so they asked that that be held off until 2025 or beyond. And then, as you know, we had budgeted actually for a water slide in 2023, but there was some concern about the value for money there. And ultimately, we haven't gone ahead with that project in 2024. And I think that that has to be recognized too, that the council is wrestling with what's the right time to stop reinvesting in something that does not ultimately meet your long-term needs versus starting to plan for something new. And we did see that play out in the 10-year capital plan that we're going to talk about next, where council has said, well, we want to see some funding starting to be put away for a new city hall.
Absolutely. Well, maybe we'll move right into the 10-year capital plan there and discuss the importance of that long-term planning. This is an approved funding for the 10-year capital plan, but it's just a way to kind of see the road ahead a little bit. Mayor Creasey, just want to discuss the importance of this document for city planning.
Right, and I think this is a great communication tool, both within the organization and to the public, letting everyone know what those priorities are and what those big infrastructure items are coming forward. Last night, I think that was probably the first acknowledgement that council as a whole made that we recognize that these buildings and infrastructure items do have a lifespan. And I think that by not acknowledging that we are in a city hall, for instance, that is give or take around 70, 75 years old, it just simply will not last forever. And at some point, as the CEO had alluded to, it becomes a balancing act. Do we keep pouring money into keeping up to a reasonable standard, or do we perhaps back off a bit and just come to the realization that we're better off putting those funds into a new facility? Unfortunately, I think it will take quite a few years of setting funds aside to make that happen. But frankly, we have to start sometime, and better now than waiting on it and just kicking the can down the road further.
And hoping for a windfall.
Exactly.
Which just doesn't happen in government.
CEO Goudy, do you have anything else you'd like to add about the 10-year capital plan, the importance of this document?
Yeah, I mean, it is, we've talked before that it's a forecast, but it's a really important forecast, because when you're dealing with things like major upgrades of roadways or new water reservoirs or even new fire halls, those aren't things just like a city hall that can be planned for and developed and funded within 1 year, 3 years. They're 5, 7, 10-year endeavors. And so looking out to make sure that we do have those big chunk items in there is an important annual exercise that we do.
So, Mayor Creasey, do you have any final thoughts for us on the passing of the 2024 budget?
Well, I think because of the high dollar amount involved, I think it's important for people to recognize that the amount of planning that goes into these capital expenditures, and the reason why the payment of them is stretched over such a long period of time is to, in fact, make it possible so that we can have those facilities and the infrastructure in place to be able to have the quality of life that our citizens both deserve and expect in the city of Lacombe. And we think that this is a pretty good balance this year. I'm pleased with the things that worked out. There was some give and take, I would suggest, from each and every councillor, and lots of very helpful input from administration to come up with the plan that we have for us, and one that I'm very happy to present to the public.
CEO Goudy, Mayor Creasey, thank you both for coming on, sharing your thoughts. Look forward to speaking to you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.